Chapple and Amp, County Limited v Nestle County Limited, 1961, is a landmark English contract law case that clarified the meaning of consideration and established that consideration need not be adequate, as long as it has some legal value. The case arose when Nestle ran a promotional scheme to boost sales of its chocolate bars by offering customers a gramophone record in exchange for sending in 3 wrappers and paying 1 shilling and 6 pence. The records were originally owned by Chapple and Amp Company, who held the copyright and were entitled to royalties on sales. Chapple argued that the wrappers formed part of the price of the records and should be included in calculating royalties, while Nestle claimed that the wrappers were merely promotional and had no real value, as they were thrown away after use. The legal issue before the House of Lords was whether the chocolate wrappers constituted valid consideration in the contract between Nestle and its customers. Nestle contended that only the monetary payment should count as consideration, since the wrappers were worthless in themselves. However, the court rejected this argument and held that consideration does not have to be economically valuable or adequate, as long as it is something of value in the eyes of the law and is requested by the promissor. The wrappers were valuable to Nestle because they encouraged customers to buy more chocolate and served a commercial purpose, even though they had no resale value. Since the customers were required to provide the wrappers as part of the bargain, they formed part of the consideration. As a result, the House of Lords ruled in favor of Chapple and held that the wrappers were part of the price, meaning that royalties had to be paid on that basis. This case firmly established the principle that courts will not assess the fairness or adequacy of consideration, but only whether it exists in law. A promise can be legally binding even if what is given in return seems trivial, symbolic, or of little financial worth, provided it is requested and forms part of the agreement. An example to illustrate this principle can be seen in modern promotional offers, such as when a fast food company offers a branded mug in exchange for a small cash payment and a certain number of food receipts. Although the receipts may be worthless to the customer and discarded afterward, they still have value to the company because they encourage repeat purchases and track participation in the promotion. Under the rule in Chapple v Nestle, those receipts would count as valid consideration alongside the money paid. Therefore, the case demonstrates that consideration is about legal sufficiency rather than economic equality, and it reinforces the idea that parties are free to make their own bargains without interference from the courts, even if one side appears to be getting a much better deal than the other. Remember, contracts are about trust. They ensure both parties fulfill their promises. Always read and understand agreements before signing. If you found this video helpful, subscribe for more insights. Learn about the fascinating world of contract law.